Hi everybody, I thought I'd show you how I make my free planters that I use for seedlings and starts. I drink a lot of Coke, so obviously I have a lot of 2-liter Coke bottles. And there's two ways you can make this, but basically it's easier if you leave the cap on because then the bottle fights you a little bit. If you take the cap off, then the bottle collapses. You just need some sort of razor knife. Doesn't really matter what kind, an X-Acto knife or utility knife. Just needs to be sharp. I suppose you could use scissors too, but it gets a little bit harder to do. And there's two ways to do it. The first way, you just follow the top of the label, just like so, and use the label just kind of as a guide to get it reasonably straight, like that. And you take the lid off. And then on these ones, I put like an inch gap to collapse it a little bit. And then you just shove that down in there, like that. And you don't have to block it off. The soil will, kind of fill that gap, and then it'll just leach out. And then the second way to do it is basically the same, but you follow it along the bottom of the label, like so. Sometimes it can be a little challenging to get it straight. This is a pretty wonky one, but okay. So with this way, it makes more of a like a cup that holds the. You fill this part up. The advantage to doing it this way is that you can take it apart and dump out the liquid if the water gets a little bit stagnant. The disadvantage to this is that sometimes when you're moving them around, it can pop off and you can drop a plant that's full of dirt and, a grown plant. So these ones are a little bit more stable, but they're harder to drain. And then usually, not always, but usually I just take an ice pick and I poke it kind of up here at the top, just kind of a emergency drain area. Obviously a little bit easier if you fill it with dirt first, but I think I'm going to do that. These are new planter things from Dollar Tree that are kind of nice. And this is just my compost that isn't quite done yet, but I use it to start seeds quite a bit. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and so new this year on this style, I'm going to try something new this year. And I'm going to try winter sowing some stuff. I got to a late start this year, but it snowed yesterday, and I decided that maybe I should try and do a little bit of winter sowing and plant some seedlings. So basically, what I'm going to do this year is just fill it not quite full, like that. Boom, and then you can put this back in upside down like that. Make yourself a little mini greenhouse, kind of like the milk jug trick that people are doing for winter sowing, but I'm using Coke bottles just because I have a lot of them. And then you can put the lid back on it or you can leave it off. But another thing, I use these lids, I scatter these all around my strawberry beds to kind of distract the birds. These sort of look like strawberries, and so the birds come and peck at those, and they don't seem to like those. But anyway, this is the end result. You can see here's a bean that I started a little bit too early, but it's still going pretty good. And some cauliflower. This is a loofah that here in Nevada I have to start really early. This was started February 3rd, and it's doing okay. You can see here, this is a Jerusalem artichoke that I started way too soon and made the mistake of leaving it indoors. But I'll sell this for $1 or $2, and I sell these all day, every day on Facebook, and make pretty good money just doing that. Just enough to, it's enough to. It's not good money, but it's money enough to pay for some drip irrigation and stuff like that. Kind of offset my habit, I guess. This was just kind of an experiment with Jerusalem artichokes to see if I could grow one little tiny eye about the size of a pea. And boy, it grew way faster than I had planned on. I should have left it outside so it didn't quite sprout so soon. But this thing sprouted in February, and I'm not going to be able to plant it for another month. But anyway, and then also, this part is a little bit debatable. There are those who would tell you that this is stealing. However, my store told me specifically that if I bought an entire case, that the Coke guy had no problem with me taking the thing. So I do technically take these back once in a while, although I have more in my house than I have taken back lately. But the way I get these is I buy the entire case at a time. And sometimes they make me give them back the black part, but then other times they just let me take it. And it's really nice because you can fill this whole thing up like so, and then have a nice little carry case. And you can see these make a nice little planter that you can plant all kinds of different things and then separate them out later. Anyway, I hope that helps someone. Total cost $0. It's just compost that I made in a big pile. I don't know if you can see, but you can see I use quite a bit of it, and there's my compost pile out there, and it's kind of still snowing a little bit. The snow's melted off, but anyway, hope that helps.